Hi all, welcome back to my channel, Quilter Chris. My name is Kristen and I'm so glad you're here. So today we're working on the 2025 Designer Mystery Block of the Month. This is block number 2, and I want to say my block is not perfect. I miss my points in some parts. I even have to rip out a little bit. This is a tough block. But I would love for you to sew along. Do you have trouble with corners? How do you feel about triangles overall? So I'm getting really close to 250 subscribers. I would love if you could subscribe, like, and share this video. So along with me as I make this. Oh, quick side note, I did get the finishing kit for these squares. I haven't cut it out as of yet. So I'll hopefully for the next block I will have the finishing kit and I'll be able to show it to you with the finishing kit all around this block. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. So we're working on it's the 2025 Designer Mystery. This is the second block, Stars Align. It's designed by Joanna Figueroa. Here is the fabric we're using, and I know that this white looks like a solid white. It's not. It's the same print as this, but it's a white on white. So I'm going to iron these, get them all cut out, and we'll come back. So I have all of our fabrics cut out, and this is a basic, there's no special piecing, it's just cutting out and sewing together. So I have my fabrics cut out. I use these little pin flags. They're lettered, and you can see when I'm cutting out the patterns. So these are the fabrics, and it tells you which letters you cut out with which fabric. So I just separate these out so when I'm looking at them, I can see it. And so I have them cut out, and now we're going to piece it together. So the first part we're going to do is F and D together to make this square. And so we're going to put them together. This can get a little tedious because these pieces are small, but we're going to sew these together and we will make 8 of them. And then I'll show them to you and we'll do the next step. They're all pressed. I hit them with a little starch. And then I have a 2.5-inch ruler. And I'll place this on top and see where I need to trim around it. This one's pretty good. So I won't need to worry about it, but I'll go through them all, trim them up, and then we'll do the next one. Next we're going to do pieces A and G. And so you're going to look, this fabric, it can be a little tough to see the tone-on-tone print. So you're going to want to make sure you turn it to the wrong side. You're going to take a ruler. I find it's easier with a shorter ruler, but whatever works. These are the Creative Grid rulers. I line it up corner to corner. And I'm just going to use a pencil, but you could use chalk, you could use a water erasable marker, you could use a heat marker, whatever you have. So then you draw a line. Okay? That's your middle. Then these Creative Grid rulers, they have 1/4 inch markings right here. So you're going to do it a 1/4 inch on each side. Like so. Okay, and when you're done, you'll have 3 lines like that. It's easier to mark it on the white. So then you have your gray. You take your white, you put it on top. Now, you could glue base this in the seam allowance a little, like along this line. You can pin it, whatever works. You are not going to sew on this middle line. That is merely a marking so you know where to put the other lines. You're then going to sew on these outside lines. And after you've sewn them all together, you're going to cut on that middle line. And you can just use scissors. You don't have to use rotary cut. That's going to be in your seam allowance. No one will see it. And then you'll iron them over and you'll have 2 half square triangles. So I'm going to mark all mine. I'm going to sew them together. And then I'll come back and show you what it looks like and how we cut them. Okay, so I finished sewing these and I chain pieced these. How I did that was I sewed all down one line. I turned the corner here, you can see a straight line, and sewed back the other way. So I have my 4, that's going to be 8. You just trim the pieces, try not to hit the corners. Now we're just going to cut on that line. Now you can take your rotary if you want to. I am just going to use scissors. Okay, where I sewed here on this edge, so you can see when we open this up, however you do it. If you iron it to one side or you iron it open, you're going to have these little dog ears or tails. So you can just cut them off while you're cutting these. So it looks like that. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to trim these up and iron them. And I'm going to sew them to our 4x4s in another 4x4. And then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. The next thing is to make some flying geese. We're going to use piece B. This will be the base for our flying geese. And then pieces H and I. And so you probably want to draw a line here, diagonal line. And so then you can follow that line to sew on it. You don't have to. You can also use a little bit of glue basting if you would like, or you can pin these so that they don't shift on you. It is pretty common for them to shift. So we're going to make 4 flying geese with H and 4 flying geese with I. So we'll come back and show those. Okay, so we have made 4 of these. And then the next step is to make the flying geese right here. And you make 4 of these light ones and 4 of these dark ones. And after you make those, you're going to sew them together like this. You'll have 4 of these. You will have 4 of these. You put these aside and you will go to the next step, which is to make more flying geese, but these small ones. So I'll work on these and then I'll come back and show them to you. Okay, so we've gotten these. We have 2 without the sides. And then we have 2 where we've put the sides. And you can see here, I actually made a mistake. I'm going to have to rip that out. So this is how it should look. So it should look like that. You should have, it should be that in the middle. And then we should have those going the opposite direction. But as you can see, mine didn't. So I'm going to have to rip that out and make it and fix it. Okay, so now you will have made 4 of these tiny flying geese, and 2 of them you're going to put the sides on, and 2 won't have the sides. So 2 of these have piece D, the sides on them, and 2 do not. And you're going to take your center square, piece E, and you'll start with doing the short ones, and you will put them on each side of the square. After you sew those on, then you'll put these longer ones on the square. All right, I'll work on this and come back and show you. Okay, so we've gotten these short sides sewn on. So the next step is to take the long sides and we're going to sew them on and then press it. You could definitely finger press this, but I would take it to the iron. After we sew those on, we're going to put the flying geese on the sides. After we put the flying geese on the side, then we'll put together the rest of the block. Okay, we have our center square done and it looks so pretty. Now we're going to put together the shorter flying geese on the sides. Okay, so now we have those short flying geese sewn on the sides. Now we're going to add the top and bottom and I'll show you it all put together. Here's my finished block. I think it looks so pretty. It's not perfect. I am super close to some of my points. And some of my squares are a little bit off, and that's okay. I enjoyed doing it, and in the end, when it's completed, no one will be able to tell. Hi all, thanks for watching my video. If you like this video and you got anything out of it, I would love if you hit the like button or if you chose to subscribe. Thanks again. Bye bye.